Welcome to Stoic Venture, where wisdom meets action, where we learn to master ourselves so that the world moves toward us, not away. What if I told you that caring less could actually make her care more? Sounds counterintuitive, right? But today we're diving deep into one of the biggest paradoxes of attraction, a concept that most men never understand. We're not talking about games. We're talking about a mindset shift so powerful that once you embrace it, everything changes. Have you ever noticed that the men who chase, always available, always texting first, always trying to prove their worth, are the ones who get overlooked? Meanwhile, the men who are self-contained, who have their own mission, their own purpose, their own direction, seem to magnetize women effortlessly. Why is that? It's not because women are playing games. It's because attraction isn't built through desperation. It's built through presence, confidence, and emotional self-control. Women don't fall for men who fall all over themselves for them. They fall for men who stand firm, who are steady, self-assured, and deeply rooted in themselves. But this isn't about being cold. It's not about pretending not to care. It's about stepping back, not out of indifference, but out of strength. It's about knowing that your value isn't tied to her attention. And this is where Stoicism comes in, because when you stop trying to control everything, when you let go of the need for constant validation, for chasing, for reassurance, you reclaim your power. And that's when everything shifts. This is a journey of mastery, one that will take us deep into the psychology of attraction, the paradox of indifference, and the misunderstood power of detachment. We'll explore why caring too much can backfire, why men who try to prove their worth actually lower it, and why true strength is found in self-containment. This isn't just theory, this is lived experience, and by the end of this, you won't just understand it, you'll feel it in your bones. So sit back, absorb, and let's begin. Attraction is paradoxical. It works the opposite of how we think. Society, movies, and love songs tell you that if you just try harder, if you show her how much you care, if you prove your devotion, then she will reciprocate. But reality doesn't work that way. The harder you chase, the more your perceived value shrinks. Not because she's cruel, not because she enjoys rejecting you, but because attraction isn't built through effort. It's built through presence, confidence, and self-respect. When you make her the center of your world, when you are always available, always checking in, always trying to prove that you are good enough, you cease to be a challenge. She no longer has to choose you. You've already handed yourself over. But when you step back, when you stop needing her to validate you, the dynamic shifts. Instead of chasing, you create space. And in that space, attraction is born. Because suddenly she has to wonder, she has to think about you, she has to feel your absence, and missing you is the first step to truly valuing you. This isn't about manipulation. It's about a simple truth. Women don't value what they don't have to work for. If she doesn't have to think about you, if she doesn't have to wonder about you, then she won't feel anything for you. But if you step back, not as a game, but as a reflection of your own self-worth, you shift the power dynamic, and she will notice. One of the biggest lies we've been fed is that attraction is something you earn through effort, that if you want her, you must prove it, show her, convince her, make her see how much you care. Sounds noble, right? But here's the problem. The moment you try to prove your worth, you send the exact opposite message. You tell her, I need you to see my value because I am not sure of it myself. And that is where attraction fades, because now she is the prize. She is the one being pursued, admired, validated, and you become just another guy trying to win her over. The harder you try, the lower you position yourself in her eyes, not because she is mean, not because she wants to reject you, but because human nature dictates that we don't value what is too easy to obtain. What if, instead of proving yourself, you focused on being yourself? On being a man who doesn't chase, who doesn't overextend, who is simply whole within himself. A man who does not fear losing anyone? That is the man who becomes irresistible. Scarcity creates value. When something is always available, it becomes easy to overlook. But when something is rare, it suddenly becomes desirable. The same principle applies to attraction. The man who constantly compliments her, checks in, and showers her with attention may think he's being sweet, thoughtful, the kind of guy every woman should want. But in reality, he's predictable, easy, and easy is forgettable. A man who is present but does not orbit her. That man is intriguing. He's not cold, he's not distant, he's just whole. He gives attention, but not freely. He is selective, and that seductiveness makes him valuable, because women don't fall for men who chase. They fall for men who stand firm, who know their worth, and make others realize it. Attraction is a dance. It's a rhythm. But if you are always the one stepping forward, initiating, checking in, proving yourself, you throw off the balance. What you think is showing care, she perceives as neediness, and neediness kills attraction. Think about it. If you text her every morning without fail, if you flood her with compliments, if you always ask if she's okay, always look for ways to prove your affection, what happens? She starts to wonder, why is he so invested? Why is this so easy? Does he even have other options? And that is the essence of power, the ability to walk away, not out of bitterness, not as a manipulation, but because you are whole on your own. When you internalize this, you realize something profound. Attachment weakens you. Detachment liberates you. When you stop over-investing in others who have not earned that level of effort, you create space for those who genuinely want to be part of your life. You stop bleeding energy into dead ends and instead channel it into yourself, into your mission, into your evolution. This is the paradox of attraction. By needing nothing, you draw in everything. Think of the people who hold the most magnetic presence. They are not chasing. They are not pleading. They are not waiting for permission. They are simply living unapologetically. And that energy is intoxicating. You must become a man of presence. This means wherever you are fully there. When you are with her, she feels it. Your attention is undivided, your energy potent. But when you are gone, you are truly gone, immersed in your world, in your craft, in your purpose. She begins to feel the space you leave behind, and that space creates a desire. People by nature value what they must work for. What is given freely, without any effort required to earn it, is rarely appreciated. That is why a man who prioritizes himself, his vision, his discipline, his path, becomes more desirable than one who overextends, overgives, and overinvests in someone who has not proven they are worth that level of commitment. This doesn't mean you become cold. It doesn't mean you lack warmth or that you refuse to care. It means you are selective. It means you don't hand out your energy without discernment. You give, but only when it aligns with your values and your self-respect. Here's the secret. The most attractive thing you can be is a man who knows his worth and refuses to negotiate it. A man who does not break himself to fit someone else's mold. A man who walks with purpose, unshaken by rejection, unaffected by outcomes, because his validation comes from within. When you live this way, you shift the dynamics of every interaction. Instead of convincing someone to choose you, You embody such a powerful presence that they feel privileged to be chosen by you. It is not about arrogance. It is about certainty, about knowing who you are, what you bring, and what you will and will not tolerate. It's about setting standards, not just in dating, but in all areas of life. You don't settle for half-hearted connections, for lukewarm friendships, for opportunities that drain instead of elevate. You don't wait for others to give you permission to rise. You simply rise. The world responds differently to a man like this. Women sense it. Opportunities gravitate toward it. People respect it. Why? Because in a world where so many are desperate for external validation, the man who is content within himself is a rarity. And what is rare is valuable. The moment you stop proving yourself to others and start proving yourself to yourself, everything changes. Your energy shifts. You stop operating from a place of lack and start moving from a place of abundance. Think about it. A man who is chasing is, by definition, not in control. But a man who is chased, a man who naturally attracts because he is too busy building, growing, and becoming the best version of himself, that man holds all the power. This applies to more than just relationships. It applies to business, to friendships, to life. The same principle holds. When you know your value, you do not beg for opportunities. You create them. When you know your worth, you do not seek approval. You stand firm in who you are, and the world adjusts accordingly. So, what does this look like in practice? It means you move differently. It means you cultivate discipline, self-respect, and an unshakable presence. It means you wake up every day with a mission, a fire inside you that does not dim because of someone else's validation or lack thereof. You develop yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally. You read, you learn, you grow. You push your limits. You take care of your body, your mind, your finances. You refine your craft. You pursue your passions. You do the things that make your soul come alive. Not for approval, not for attention, but because this is who you are. And something incredible happens when you do this. You stop worrying about who is watching. You stop overanalyzing responses. Stop waiting for text messages. Stop overthinking interactions. You become immersed in your own journey, and that focus, that intensity, it becomes magnetic. There is a reason why those who master themselves hold a gravitational pull. It is because they embody something rare, something deeply attractive on an instinctual level. They are not easily swayed. They are not needy. They are not seeking completion in another, because they are already complete within themselves. The irony, this level of self-possession, of complete detachment from needing external validation, makes you even more desirable. But by the time you truly internalize this, you won't even care. You will be too busy living, too engaged in your own evolution, too absorbed in your own growth to notice. And that, my friend, is when you have won. Not because you played a game, but because you transcended it. Because you became the kind of man who does not need to chase, who does not need to force, who does not need to prove anything to anyone. Instead, you simply exist in your fullness, and the world adjusts to the undeniable force that you have become. This is how you win, not by seeking, but by being. Not by chasing, but by embodying. Not by convincing, but by radiating an energy so powerful that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances naturally find you. This is how you master life itself. And when you truly grasp this, when you fully step into this way of being, you will never look back. So step back, not to create distance, not to manipulate, but to remind yourself and the world who you truly are. This is Stoic venture. This is your path to mastery.